Dear sisters and brothers, this broadcast is going to be involving a channeled message which I took on February 2nd, and it's a combination with the previously revealed knowledge sets you may be familiar with. The later part of this broadcast is going to be covering this message and comments about the human evolution and advancement to higher dimensions. But first, let's go to the law of time and the concept of the time Chronicles is about. So the day is the February 2nd, 2022, and today is February 7th, 2022. So that's a period of fast transition, which you may have realized. The energies, they try to renew you, make you think, make you consider something that you are regularly doing, but you're not happy doing about, so you want to change them. And so I decided to make the broadcast on February 7th, but it covers a period that starts on February 2nd, which is the enchanted eternal gate. And we made all true rituals starting on that date. And that's why today it's time for this broadcast. So the day, February 2nd, 2022, was the day of the blue crystal eagle. So let's look at that. The eagle has its strong wings and is resembling to our ancient son of humanity, the Sol Invictus. It's actually Saturn. Imagine a dying sun. The plasma is bursting out as rings. And of course, the name Lord of the Rings is certainly not a coincidence, by the way. And this plasma around Saturn is perceived as wings of an eagle. So it connotates to that. An eagle flies high, is observing everything from above, and this is an indication of power, control. If you look at something from a certain height, you can exert control on details which you wouldn't perceive if you would be at the same level of these details. And then a crystal is, on the other hand, a device that is used to focus the energy to carry out a function based on a plan. And the blue color is, of course, it's an eternal frequency color. So the day is, the February 2nd is the blue crystal eagle. That's why we are calling also, it's an enchanted eternal gate, because it represents a lot of things. And today, the February 7th is the first day of the 8th month of the law of time. And this month is called the Galactic Moon. So it's a very important moon. Actually, we are starting it today, February 7th. The name of the day is Yellow Self-Existing Sun. And it's a wonderful day to see your inner sun, the light coming within yourself. It's to acknowledge that you are a sun yourself. And yellow sun is the solar home, your heart, the Sol Invictus, Saturn again. So we are combining the beginning and the end of this period, the small period, February 2nd to February 7th. And it's another gate actually today. So Sol Invictus, Saturn, it teaches a lot, and it's like our parent guiding us, or a teacher checking on us whether we are true or not true, whether we are on the track. We stick to the plan. If not, it comes with a lot of punishment, of course. So, Sol Invictus means that no one can actually beat you. You are immortal. Immortality is what humanity is looking out for, actually. And If you thought right now that this doesn't make sense, I'm not immortal, then you are not immortal. It is all related to your thoughts. So it's time to change our thoughts. And on February 2nd, around 2 a.m., I was given a message which I integrated with my comments, and the comments are on some already existing knowledge sets, which we all know about, and some of us know more about. So enjoy the ride. I'm going to read out now this message to you. Imagine a civilization millions of years ahead of the humanity of planet Earth. How would you think about such a civilization? How would you feel as to how they are? Have you ever imagined something like this so far? Is this a civilization, for instance, millions of years ahead of you, or light years far from you? What do you think? Are they far from us, although they're advanced than us? So make a comparison, a quick comparison. How you feel about them? And you may already know the fairy tale, the Hansel and Gretel. A stepmother taking a brother and sister to the woods, and the kids place their little pebbles on the road in order to find their way back home. We also have something similar to those pebbles to find back you. It is your genetic codes, and we follow you and help you when you need. You are never alone. We are not light years or millions of years far from you. We are right beneath you in your rooms when you think you are alone. Your emotional bodies sometimes perceive us, although you may not consciously realize that we are there. We do not want to scare you or disturb you. We are with you, especially to help your emotional body to ascend with higher frequencies. We radiate those high frequencies to you. We feed your emotional body. During this main transition period on Earth, the emotions are cared less. They are tried to be left aside. We know that. Being strong is attributed to letting your emotions aside, putting them away, and act like a machine. This is not what we desire. This is not the program. But do not mix the emotions with being emotional about something. The ascension of emotions, feelings in a way, and getting into resonance with the frequencies of higher dimensions enable you to progress faster and easier on your path of evolution. Empathy, acceptance, especially a respectful mutual understanding and acceptance of individuals, love and care, kindness one being can showing another, and respect, acknowledging that a person is there for a reason, just as you are there for a reason. These high emotions must not get lost. They must be preserved and protected because you are going to need them all on your journey of millions of ages ahead of you. Being emotional, on the other hand, stand for lower resonance. They are downgrading you, such as the feeling of being inadequate, you are not enough, feeling victimized, or loss of self-value or self-respect. These are some undesired emotional aspects. The spiritual energy of beings who come from galactic dimensions is quite low, and the divine energy, which is an upper scale spiritual energy, is almost non-existent. Therefore, it is very difficult for them to align with the higher emotions we are talking about. They are very far from understanding and acknowledging that each person is a part of God, that each human deserves to be respected and loved, and that everyone is a brother or sister. So this is very important. So spiritual energy is lacking for the galactic races. And children from various galactic races are born on Earth, and they live with a close consciousness without knowing who is from which galactic race. Sometimes the children of galactic dimensions who are living on Earth, but those galaxies were at continuous wars and are enemies for each other beyond our imagination, feel like an enemy, even though their consciousness is not open. They feel resentment, anger, hatred towards each other, and without knowing why, of course, but as an instinctual feeling that there is an enemy in front of them. And being sent to Earth with deleted codes of remembrance has a reason. It's because it's a school for learning and practicing the unification. The Earth is a center or a school for unification. You may feel hatred and anger, but you must overcome this with training and evolution, converting the hatred into acceptance, rejection into, again, acceptance, and anger to love. If you can achieve this unification on Earth, the codes of universal peace will be generated, and the enemy galaxies, in a way, will take these codes for a peace on a macro level. So our job here to generate codes of the peace, universal understanding. Especially during this main harvesting period on Earth, the most difficult enemies are embodied on Earth, and they are given a chance, actually, here to create the peace. And they are given especially to each other as close friends, family members, or people from each other's close circles. These beings are not much evolved with high frequency feelings, let's say, and they lack spiritual energy and no divine energy at all. Remember, divine energy was the upper level of the spiritual energy. They are embodied on Earth in order to acquire their graduation from the school Earth, learning their lessons of overcoming their hate, anger, and resentment. This is their last chance to learn. This is their last chance to teach the enemy dimensions that they are coming from. And this is their last chance to survive and make their dimensions survive. Given the chaos, such as a chaos such less evolved beings can cause on Earth, you may easily say that they should not have been given the chance to live on Earth at all. However, according to the divine justice plan and its associated laws, of course, every single being is given the right to take a body on Earth, take a life, short or long, easy or difficult, but mostly, of course, difficult, for faster lecturing and training. If this right to live on Earth would not have been given to a being, because he's very low in terms of the evolutionary scale, or even if he's a very negative being who has committed many universal crimes, a being with full-scale scores of a perfect student of the school Earth, who is at the top evolutionary scale, would not be given the right to graduate from the school Earth. So their graduation is your graduation, actually. Keep in mind, those who are at higher levels of the evolutionary scale are here to support those who are low at the same scale. The most important examination as a prerequisite for graduation from the school during this main harvest period is that the ones who would help those who have not. The high ranks help the low ranks, obviously. So Cosmos values a person who is ranking low in terms of the evolutionary scale as someone who does not have much value, and treats that person very harsh so that he learns fast and starts evolving fast. And Cosmos does not care much that such being suffers much. And as long as the cosmos gets results, they don't really care that you are squeezed, that you are depressed, and everything like this. So the Cosmos Federal Assembly implements the most difficult programs and make the people take their lessons fast, and make them take those lessons as unforgotten lessons. These difficult programs are opened for the whole humanity, not just for those who are not evolved. Those who already passed difficult exams get through those chaotic programs, difficult programs easier, but programs are for the whole. The reason of falling down in terms of human values, the downgrading of the values on earth, that we are living a very difficult life, is this. The reason of excess chaos on earth is this. This is a no mercy program. This spiritual energy is brought into existence as the universal ordinances were called into being. The spiritual energy is a whole, it's a totality, it is the potential of our lives, the force of the skies. Even if we are an advanced civilization, this is the energy that enables our life. The spiritual energy is not within ourselves, as the spirit is not in our bodies. We pull this spiritual energy from this spiritual totality, what we call the spiritual plane, through our generated thoughts. This energy accumulates in our sacrum, and it's known as Kundalini, for the common word that we all know. Kundalini is known as the energy sustaining our lives. Kundalini is actually the unit of energy that we utilize or accumulate, that we pulled from the spiritual plane through our thoughts. There are higher levels of spiritual energy, such as celestial energies or divine energies. You may think of this as a scale. You connect to that level on the scale of spiritual energy that you are able to reach with your thoughts. For instance, Orion utilizes the upper segment of the spiritual energy, but depending on the mission, we can work on any level on the scale. The lower level on the scale is heavy and tiring. The higher levels are light and subtle. Some of you focus this spiritual energy and uses it for the benefit of the humanity and as a service to the plan. Some of you just waste their energy. Some of you succeed to become a spiritual energy unit, which is a center nourishing other souls who cannot pull any energy with their thought chains, feeding them with spiritual energy to make them survive until they can feed themselves just like a baby. These people can also absorb the negativity and transform it into positivity. The spiritual energy unit people. And they sometimes face physical problems if the negativity is a fierce one, is very strong. And it's very likely that these people are concerned about what if they fail to function at some point, because the negativity has considerably increased on Earth, and this concern of theirs turn into a worry. And in fact, a worry is like a key that turns onto higher dimensions and pulls down a sudden and high energy that builds a protective shield. A mother protects her child through this frequency of worry. Even if everything is fine, a mother is always worried. If you consider us as your parents, you may understand that we are also worrying about you. And you are so precious to us, so you must know this. It is spiritual energy levels that distinguishes an animal from a human, or us from you. We also walk the same path you are walking now. We evolved out of a simple micro energy into many macro energy forms. We are acquired many experiences, energies, consciousness, and power. In order to acquire spiritual power, you must be fair and just. You shall not harm, and you shall serve the spiritual plan. If you fail to accomplish these, you won't be allowed to acquire the spiritual power, which is a true power. You can't just take it without paying the price. And if you can't get it, you would just perish, as if you have not existed at all. This is the reason of our worry. You must understand how precious it is coming from our microenergy until an advanced level of existence, and no one wants you to perish. However, the Galactic Federation, supervised by Cosmos Federal Assembly, is in charge now, implementing very heavy evolutionary programs in order to raise you quickly. Throughout the evolutionary process, as the beings were raised up, they have been exposed to certain interventions. The divine energy was injected into the caveman, and some mutation programs were implemented so that the rapid evolution could take place in the desired direction, so that the annihilation programs are delayed as much as possible. And through this injection process, the function of logic was derived as an outcome. Otherwise, you would be still wandering around on your 4 feet and a tail. The tail is important here because it was a device that transforms the Kundalini energy of the core of the earth and your energy to the earth in a way, making these connections. Because if the galactic energies or any energy that is used for existence is not transferred to the core of the earth, the beings of those galactic dimensions or any other places of existence cannot take a body on earth. So their embodiments on earth would not be enabled. First, their energy must be injected into the core energy of the earth. So let me repeat. The spiritual energy is brought into existence as the universal ordinances were called into being. The spiritual energy is such a huge potential, and it is being analyzed in cosmic laboratories at the dimensions of Atalanta. In this cosmic laboratory, energy particles are being analyzed, and the causal relations ahead of the Atalanta Dimension are being investigated. At a later stage of these investigations, a great implementation was carried out, which was planting seeds of spiritual energy onto an area beyond the border of the universal cosmic ordinance, where there is no existing spiritual energy. It is very similar, perhaps, to how you plant the seeds of a plant on a very empty soil, where there's no cultivation was carried before, an empty land, and you're just planting seeds. So imagine a place where there is no energy, and you need to plant energy seeds for the life to be able to take place there. After planting the seeds, the outcomes were awaited for a certain period, and the planted seeds of the spiritual energy started to sprout out, and the data was integrated into a plan. And within this plan, a project named Candiga was initiated. The knowledge was shared through the channel of the knowledge book, and I really advise you to read it, to find it. And some of you might recall, this is a project for a chance, for a second life for all of us. Upper dimensions, lower dimensions, the millions of years ahead dimensions, and the current humanity on Earth for all of us. So after all these universes are going to be wrapped up into the archives, and the spaces will be damaged and annihilated, including the Atalanta Dimension, this is our second chance for life. And you might find more details on the knowledge book. Please read it. The Atalanta Dimension is the plane that built all the simulation cubes in which we are all pursuing our existence at the moment. We are living there. And the Candiga project is designed at the laboratory of the Atalanta Dimension, and the recruitment process for this project has been initiated because citizens of the Candiga land are searched and trained. These are beings who own their spiritual energy, who are able to plant further seeds, and who can act as a spiritual energy archive unit. That means who can survive in an environment that does not have any or yet sufficient spiritual energy. So this recruitment process is named as the main harvest. And this terminology is quite familiar to you, I assume, and it is a process of searching for specific genes and thereby capabilities. It is a top priority for us that searching, analyzing, segmenting, and clustering functions are carried out properly in this recruitment process in this main area and in the area of the main harvest, actually. So this era is corresponding to the end of the 19th cycles of 26,000 years, based on the Mayan long count calendar. It is a top priority that human potential is recruited, prepared, and trained as a spiritual archive unit for a place with no existing spiritual energy, which is essential for life to take place. Now, did you understand or comprehend the urgency and significance of this? The beings coming from the galactic dimensions do not possess any divine energy. The individuals born since the year 1964 are mostly the representatives of the galactic dimensions. And take a look at yourselves. What is the usual level of your patience? Are you acting with kindness? Are you grateful on each step you take on earth? Or are you just wasting time with anger, hatred, or a feeling of inadequacy that you feel you're not enough? I don't want to say this, but do the drugs help you to get out of depression? Are you alive? Do you understand your own existence? Do you know how precious you are? Our worries are extreme. That's why we stand right beneath you, in your rooms, where you feel lonely. You may not see us, but we are sure you feel us. The galactic beings come to the earth to gather divine energy because earth is a land of divine energy. The earth is very precious according to the codes of the universal ordinances. This is why the original planet Earth is placed in a well-preserved archive, just as your museums. You are now living on a hologram copy of the original planet Earth, so that you have no chance to destroy the original one. As we granted the chance of life to those beings who are at the lower evolutionary scale, we have protected the Earth so that the likelihood of any damage is zero. The hologram copy serves the humanity as a school with the same functions of the original planet Earth. If the galactic beings won't be able to acquire the advanced spiritual energies on planet Earth, they cannot achieve the graduation from the school, the planet Earth. They cannot make the desired exit, we call from planet Earth the fifth and seventh dimension, which is the graduation level. And no exit also would be possible to make the omega exit. Omega exit, is the 19th dimension. And this is the then there's another exit into Candiga from the Atalanta Dimension, which is far beyond the 118th dimension. This is the Alien Dimension. There is no passage without spiritual energy for anyone. Whoever you are, you need to have your spiritual energy with you. The representatives of the divine plan, us and the majority amongst the Earth citizens who are over the age of 70, roughly speaking, have a considerably spiritual energy of high quality. You see really love in their eyes, patience, tolerance, kindness. And they really earned this with so many incarnations at the hardest times of planet Earth. Think about the world wars, tortures, disasters, hunger. It's all beyond our imagination right now. We all cry when the electricity or the water, flow is cut. So imagine what they have experienced. So they know exactly the opposite of love. They know real hatred. And the galactic beings, on the other hand, do not have so much time to go through this learning curve. And that's why an accelerated evolution program is required. These programs are quite difficult. Look at the cows of the planet Earth, which is a prerequisite now of the main harvest period. It is not easy to get recruited. The accelerated evolution programs necessitate certain periods for implementation, and plans are carried out annually. Thereby, it's a plan with a beginning and ending. Actions are planned and arranged in order to focus the energy and tasks according to the plan. Beginnings of annual plans, which can be defined as the New Year Eve, for instance, which we all know, they vary based on different esoteric teachings. So many different esoteric teachings have different New Year's Eve. For instance, the 18th of February is regarded as the Universal New Year's Eve, and 19th of February is then the first day of the new year. The very first days of February, the Earth is celebrating the Lunar New Year, started by February 2nd, and July 26th is the first day, for instance, of the year, according to the law of time system. February is a very strong beginning for a new annual program, and it's important to get prepared for it. These are really precious days, especially the first week of February, starting from February 2nd until February 7th, and this week also following the February 7th. These are really precious times until February 18th. So use these times effectively, and we have some recommendations, which is, for instance, first, please convert yourselves into a spiritual energy archive and think about it at least. Second, you need to support others spreading the knowledge and help spreading the knowledge by creative means. You may use social media, you may use word of mouth, whatever you do, just do. And if you feel like you cannot talk about the knowledge, let someone talk about it. And please at least connect those people who doesn't know and who knows, and be the bridge in between. And the third very important recommendation is please stay away from those individuals who steal your energy. You're going to need that energy. It's so precious. Don't give away to those who don't deserve it. Focus your attention to your advancement and those who deserve the energy from you. It's a very complicated matter, I know, because we'll talk about it. Its complication and how to solve it in another session, perhaps. Because on one hand, we say support others, on the other hand, we say stay away. So it's a balance, and you have to ask yourself when you face a person, does he deserve you? Does he not deserve you, your energy? And without humiliating that person. I mean, there are 50 ways to leave a lover, they say, So it's you need to do something very kindly, even if you want to stay away, okay? You shouldn't break anyone's heart. Make progress. That's the fourth recommendation. Make progress because your inner voice that comes from your essence nodule in your heart chakra will tell you what's the right thing to do. Do not produce any fear. Just stay away from ego. Another recommendation is do not forget that you're not alone. We are here to help, but According to the laws of the Federation, we cannot help to those who does not help themselves. Another recommendation is that we have placed the codes of recalling and advancement into the fellow spiritual energy archive beings, people who already are on our who are already recruited as spiritual energy units, and they carry plasma chips in their bodies, and they're here to radiate that you can also get this energy. They can get the horizontal energies, and they can reflect it uh, also horizontally and vertically. So it's they are there for you. We also place these codes of remembrance and advancement into songs, music, and books. When you are exposed to those codes, you will remember and you will know. So make research, read, listen, be alive. Okay, so it will be just fine if you uh, make some effort. So you are awaited with love, and that's how they conclude. So thank you for listening. It was a really precious set of knowledge, and it's a combination of the channel message and some previous knowledge, previously known knowledge sets. So it is a mixture of those, and that's how I translate it into English, so I could broadcast this to you. And take good care. Until next time. Thank you.